What is going on, everyone? And today we are going to break down something a little bit different. So recently I've had a couple of messages from some people just asking what to look for series and in what direction to go with their racing and participation of series and that sort of those style of questions. So we thought we'd do a little video today just to break down some of the things we understand and know. Also, with the help of iRacingReports.com, we've actually been able to compile some active data on driving and the amount of official drivers showing up to race events for the last couple of seasons. So that's quite interesting to add that into it as well. So make sure if you want to learn all that stuff and see, there's some really cool stuff on there. Make sure you go and check out iRacingReports.com. They've got a fantastic bot that goes on your Discord as well, so that can give your teammates all their data as it comes through for where they're sitting in the world record times and how the races went and stuff like that. So it's a great little system to use if you're looking and you're a bit of a statistic nerd like myself and like all those figures and numbers as well, so make sure you check that out. But yeah, so we wanted to sort of break down this today in a way. So before we get into it, obviously the first two series we're going to talk about are not in our top three, but they're obviously very popular series, and we did want to actually speak on them briefly, and then we'll get into our top three for what we think are the best options, not just on a participation level, but also what you're going to get out of it for learning craft-wise, and setup knowledge and racecraft and a whole pile of other stuff, guys. So hopefully this helps you. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first one we're going to talk about is the Formula 1600 Rookie Series, that's the fixed series. Now this obviously isn't actually in our list of top 5, but we just wanted to bring this one up as well as another one is because it gets very good participation every week. So by sort of bringing this one up first, we just want to show you guys roughly. So for Season 4, 2023 so far, I mean, we're just about to click into week 11 coming up. And it's already had 25,617 drivers compete in an official race for the season. So quite a decent number. And then if I look back at Season 3 of 23, it was 30,105 drivers competed in an official race. And in Season 2 2023, which was the first build that the car came out, it did 34,419. So the car it's had a little bit of a decrease in the last two seasons, but it's still very strong with 25,000 in participation. So most of the time you'll be able to grab an official race with these cars. Alright guys, so the other mention is definitely, obviously, the Global Mazda Rookie Series. This participation over the last year in this series has been absolutely crazy. So, so far this season, it is the lowest season of participation they've ever had. They're at 36,244. But if I actually go back and look over the last three seasons previous to that, it's quite impressive to see. So Season 3 of 2023, it did 41,470. Season 2 of 2023 did 41,667. It does around that 40,000 every season with the Mazda, so which is really good participation. Obviously, you always know that there's going to be 50 plus drivers register for any race at any time of the day. So it's always a great car to just get in, especially if it's a track you're comfortable at. If it's a new series or you're starting out on iRacing, it teaches you a lot about car control and how the car moves around. So this one is definitely worth a look as well. Alright guys, so the first series that we actually want to talk about, and we recommend it for learning and developing, but also because the participation is quite high, is the Production Car SimLab Challenge. Now, this series is fantastic because it's multi-class racing. You've got the MX-5, you've got the Toyota 86, you've got the Renault Clio, and you've also got the Ford Mustang RS500. So, it gives you a great variety of cars to drive. It's open setup, so you're starting to learn and develop your setup craft and knowledge. but it also starts to teach you a lot about multi-class racing and understanding that you're slower and faster than different cars and where to make the correct moves and stuff like that. So there is a lot of benefit to this series. In regards to participation, so currently for this season so far, season 4 of 2023, they've had 24,277 drivers compete in an official race, which is it's a massive number. So it's really good to see such a high level of participation. Season 3, 2023, the production car SimLab Challenge did 20,343 drivers. So from that trend, it is actually on the way up this year, so which is pretty exciting to see. I think it's helping a lot of people develop and understand their multi-class racing a little bit better and learning the setups, because these cars are all very limited in what you can do, but making a couple little changes does have a big effect on how big the changes can be. So highly recommend for our number 3 pick, production car SimLab Challenge, as a definite look in for learning and developing your craft. Alright guys, so our number 2 pick is obviously not a big surprise to a lot of people. We've been quite big advocates of this series with the Ferrari GT3 Fix Challenge, with our track guides that we do. As you can see, the racing is very tough and fair. But it also teaches you a lot along the way. So I think definitely if you want to make that step into a GT3 car and you don't want to be overfaced straight away with multi-class racing and different setup building ideas and different models of car, and you want to be on an even playing field, I highly recommend the Ferrari GT3 Fix Challenge series as the series to start with. Now, the participation's a little bit interesting because obviously the participation for this season is the first official season with the new car of the 296 Ferrari, where the previous Season 3 and Season 2 notes that we're taking used the 488 Ferrari. So it'll be quite interesting to see the change and the crossover. So the participation for this season currently, with 2 rounds left to go, is 16,322 active drivers across the season. So it's a decent number. It's not as high as some of the other series, and there is other choices in before the Ferrari. But I think as a development path with what you're looking for, especially if you're looking to get into the special endurance events as team racing and that sort of stuff, this car definitely lends you towards that direction a little bit quicker. So as for Season 3 of 2023, with the 488, the participation was 19,695. So obviously there's a few people that haven't bought the car. Maybe they've moved up to another class of racing, and they've decided not to go with this direction. So it has slightly decreased, but I think you'll find that probably Season 1 of 24, it'll start to pick back up again once people start to get their head around the new car. And then looking back a little bit further, Season 2 of 2023, the participation was 20,262. So it's had quite good participation for the last few seasons. So if you're looking for a great feeder series to start to understand GT3 racing, I highly recommend you look at the Ferrari GT3 Fix Challenge series. Our number 1 pick's probably a little bit left out of field for some people. So the reason we've sort of went with this is, while the participation isn't the highest participation on the list, I think this series offers you the most information, especially building towards a career in road racing if you're into the sports car GT tin top style of racing. So obviously if you're into an open wheeler style of racing, I would probably suggest a slightly different path. But at the same time, a lot of the open wheeler guys fit really well into these top level prototype cars as well. So there is a little bit of a crossover there. So we've decided that our number 1 pick is the IMSA iRacing series. Now, the reason we've chosen this, right, is because obviously a big highlight throughout the year is the iRacing special endurance events. So like your Daytona 24, your Spa 24, Bathurst 12 hour, Sebring 12 hour, and a lot of them cars have this multi-class style, a lot of these races have these multi-class style of races. So a couple of them, obviously, like your Bathurst 12, your Spa 24, are strictly GT3 only, same as the Fuji 8 hour, but then you've got like your Sebring and your Nürburgring, and even though the prototypes aren't in there, there's still that multi-class racing aspect, which I think is very valuable in these sort of conditions. So on top of that, I like the IMSA series because there's a fixed version and an open set version, so you could, and they run the same track week to week. They also run an endurance style on a Saturday night, and then on Sundays, that's like a 2-hour, 40-minute two teammate thing. So your actual bang for buck, you get quite a lot of racing for one car or 12 tracks that you have to buy for that season, if that makes sense. So there is quite a lot of racing that you can actually get out of those purchases. So that's kind of part of the reason why we have, I think, developing your craft in traffic and understanding how to manipulate and make moves and do all that stuff is a big thing as well. So that's another part of it. And the participation is quite healthy. It's not like the highest level participation in iRacing, but it's still getting solid numbers. So, for instance, for Season 4 of this year, IMSA has done 14,578 active drivers in their open official races. In the fixed official races, they've still had 11,219. Now, we don't know if that's all of the 11,000 are doing opens as well, or if there's a crossover or a change, but I found it was very interesting to see that they're pretty on par with each other as well. So then we look back to 2020, Season 3 of 23, and it had 17,010 active drivers for that season. So it's around the same sort of figure. It's between that sort of 13,500 to the 20,000 mark each season from what I can see going back a couple of seasons. So it is quite a healthy season, but obviously I feel this is going to give you the most exposure and experience getting ready for those big main endurance races, and that's why we picked it as number one, guys. So I really hope this has helped you to sort of make a decision on where you want to go with your racing in the future. If you've got any questions, comments, any information that you'd like to know, please reach out to us, send us a comment, private messages on one of our socials. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, so that is it. I hope this has helped you to sort of make a decision or given you some information you probably didn't know about. So it was designed in a way. Obviously, these are my personal thoughts and opinions on series and racing and what I find to get the most out of them. So let us know in the comments below if you think there's any different series we should check out, or the participation's good enough, or I'd be really curious to see what you guys' thoughts and opinions are on this as well. So other than that, guys, I hope you have a great rest of the season. We've got 2 weeks left to go. I look forward to catching up with everybody during week 13 and making a plan for what we're going to produce as content-wise and giving you guys some more information. And apart from that, guys, we will see you very soon.